You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
We're going to call the meeting to order January 22nd, 2026. First meeting of the Fire Commission for the new year and calendar year. And right now we have a full board present and the assistant chief and the chief. And we're looking to take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and it's 5 p.m. Thank you. Looking at executive session.
Yeah.
It is 6:16 p.m. We're out of executive session. We're going to be going back in again. We're waiting for some candidates that got tied up. There was no votes taken during executive session, and all that are present here we're in executive session with 4 candidates that we interviewed so far. So I'm going to move past personnel and move to finance. Commissioner Riccio.
Yes. I have a couple transfers that need to be approved. We're looking to take out $15,000 from communications, $1,800 from CMed, $4,500 from volunteer officer stipend, and $1,000 from longevity. And we're looking to move that into purchase services R&M, $16,000, and other supplies, $6,300. I need a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion from
Just
discussion.
In discussion, yeah, Chief, if you can just give us a discussion.
Yeah, just
on this,
quickly,
that's all.
the surplus in communications is we really revamped our communications to be used for cellular telephones and for the modems in all of the apparatus. We've gotten away from the modems, which has allowed us to reduce a lot of this. We also kind of revamped things through AT&T's FirstNet program. So our costs have consistently gone down. I looked at the budget, and we are, even giving it a little padding, we have more than 50% less, and we're already almost at 60% of the year. So with that being said, I had the surplus there, and the CMed, we had budgeted on what we thought we were going to get when we got billed. That was the surplus that was left. So that will carry through to the end of the year anyways. Volunteer officer stipends, they've been paying that out of the regular stipend account, and any shortfall in the stipend account would be accounted for in our surplus in a salaries account, which we will have. Because of various retirements and whatnot. And then lastly is longevity. Again, we had some retirees that was budgeted before the retirement because they would have earned it should they have stayed, and that left a surplus in there. The shortfalls, especially in the repairs and maintenance account, are due to the aging fleet. We have several on order, as you know. First one should be delivered in February, but for instance, just one of the recent repair bills on the ladder truck was $11,000 and change, and it covered a slew of pulley replacements on the ladder, just a whole bunch of miscellaneous things that needed to be addressed on it. And it's the same thing with our frontline engine gets hammered, had a bunch of minor things, but all adding up to larger repair costs. Chief Kozak will have a much larger breakdown for you under the apparatus report, but that's driving that. And then just the cost of buying supplies. All of the supplies and other supplies cover cleaning supplies, our Cintas contract, and we've been having the visitors here for using a lot more than we normally would use. So hence we're out of money in both those accounts at this point in the year.
Okay.
The good news is that repairs and maintenance, we've pretty much discovered and took care of most of these things during our annual PMs and DOT and that kind of thing. So we should see, based on, with the exception of any breakdowns, that we took the opportunity to really get the stuff back to where it needed to get, because we know we still need to keep it on the line for some time to come.
Okay.
These pieces are 28 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
These aren't, 20, the ladder truck's 20 years old, but the other trucks are, 28 years old. And then engine one, even though it's not as old as our frontline career piece, so it gets hammered more than, Short Beach engine 4 does. That, while it's 28 years old, has low miles.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? So voted. Personnel, you will see, we're also the chief's report. We've completed our first year with the EMS division. I think it's been very positive. I think at the end, you guys did interviews and stuff. Our average call volume is 20 plus a day. We can see in the last 2 months we've had a lot of fires.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fires in the eastern end of town, which we really need backup on really bad. Our response times to get out that way is kind of hindering us right now, so that's definitely something we have to work on for the future. As part of our plan was approved to hire the 16 for the EMS in the year 2, which we had moved to build another station out there and hire 8 more and then work some stuff out. So we still have to work on that as part of our goal moving forward. We are hiring tonight, if everybody approves, once we get done with interviews, 3 firefighter paramedics. And then we'll have 2 full-time EMT positions open. And then we have 2 members off duty right now that are due to injury. So the chief has other stuff in his report that we'll talk about. Training, Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, sir. So I got an excellent report from Deputy Chief Kujma. Since the beginning of the year, some of the training topics include utilizing the Chief Massey Pavilion for forcible entry props and window bailout props. They've also been doing safety and survival window bailouts and Mayday procedures, which you've probably heard on the radio as they do those. SCBA confidence, forcible entry, using various tools and how to do it. Last month, crews took advantage of the freezing weather to go down to the supply pond and do some ice rescue drills. The annual OSHA required training for hazardous communications, bloodborne pathogen is ongoing. And last week, all the paramedics completed an 8-hour pre-hospital trauma life support, PHTLS, refresher course. This course is recognized around the world as the leading and continuing education program for pre-hospital emergency trauma care. And certifications recently, Fire Officer 1 for Captain Spooner, Fire Service Instructor 1 for firefighters Oli Archik, Brown, Giroli, Gianteris, and Kevin O'Donnell, and Pump Operator for firefighter, how do you pronounce that, Tom? Raphael?
Raphael.
Raphael.
And Andrew Raphael was hired by the police department as one of the newest dispatcher.
Ah.
So he's a volunteer member of Company 2. And he runs the Sweet Treats truck. So
Yeah, okay.
Nice, good.
And that's all I have.
Good. I just want to mention on training because the chief's there, because if he's not here, we do have calls. You want to make sure you have a good department, and Chief Kodiak was there, and you guys had some fires, and I have to say we have a young department and handled yourselves really well.
Yeah.
So Chief, you got to be proud about that.
No, we're very proud.
You were
of that.
able to leave and do things, and you have a young force here, but they're really good and really,
That's great.
really cautious, and what I saw on some fires, how they handle themselves was really good. So, and Branford should be proud of that, and the citizens. Apparatus, Commissioner LaCroix,
Apparatus.
spending too much money.
Yeah. You're doing your
Not your
Dave.
fault.
So the repairs and maintenance costs have increased due to the aging fleet. We currently have 3 new engines and an aerial on order, with the first engine expected to be delivered in February, and then one per year through 2029. We still have 1 engine and a rescue truck to order using bond authorization approved for this fiscal year. So I got here a bit early for this meeting this evening, and I like to walk around through the apparatus bay, and took notice that TAC 6 is fully equipped with its snow plow and sand bucket in place. for the upcoming storm, as is car 15 as well, all set up with its plow. All of the on-spot chains have been installed for the year on all apparatus, and 2 new systems were installed on Medic 1 and Medic 2. Oil changes and preventative maintenance have all been completed. Hose testing and ladder testing has also been completed by Top Rung. And, okay, we already talked about that. And there's some granular information that I won't bore the public with about oil changes and light bulbs replaced and that sort of thing. I think what I would just want to say, though, in closing with all of this, is the amazing job that is being done by the department and the men and women of the department of keeping all of the apparatus maintained in top running condition, making sure all of the equipment is in place and always ready. And that's just key in a department that's as busy as we are.
Yeah, true. You do a great job. Very good. EMS, Mr. Fox?
Yes, well, sort of picking up on how busy we are. The amount of ambulance revenue up to this point in a year is astonishing. It's $1,401,094.
And we still have five and a half.
We
more
still
months
have
left.
5.5 months left, yes. So that speaks to the increased volume in calls. Is it 20 a day?
Yeah, we're averaging currently, 19 to 20 a day,
19 to
which
20.
is about what we can handle, really.
Yep, yep,
We're kind of peaking out there.
yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we put the plan together about staffing and the need for staffing, we're addressing multiple facets, and one of them being, EMS call volume. The other is, having
fires.
the fire department there for when, so if we're at your house when Jack needs us, we're of no help. So, you really need to have that engine that's just sitting there. And those days, it's just incredible when we look at, the CAD screen
what's
and just see
going on.
one
East
after
Haven
the
and
other
Guilford have
one
been
after the
great,
other.
but they have fires too. They
Yeah,
need
they
us.
have
We're over
they
there,
have
too.
fires and
It's like North Branford, they came in and helped, and but we gotta help them too.
Right.
We're always playing catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it relates very much to what Dave's talking about in terms of the apparatus,
Yeah.
because it's constantly
get there.
moving.
Yeah.
So you look at
Oh,
the
really?
call volume we have right now, and we still have apartments being built in this town.
I know.
They haven't come on to,
Yeah.
what do I call it, not come onto the system yet, to be
Online.
They're not occupied.
online,
They're
yeah.
not
So
occupied yet.
when that happens, it's only gonna go up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we are on track to exceed our projection again, I would assume.
It does look that way.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say
Chief, do we still write off elderly after Medicare?
Yes.
Okay.
It still requires them to ask.
So, strictly hearsay. There's an apartment complex, elderly apartment complex that evidently are not wanting to call 911 because of the expense, and they're driving themselves in.
Okay.
They probably don't know that they can. So do you remember we used to
Yeah.
Right.
take whatever Medicare?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and actually,
So
I was just thinking about that.
We have to
recently.
use a fair process and,
Right.
again, when people
We
ask,
should call.
because the billing company, here's the thing, is nobody goes to collections without getting multiple notices.
Right.
Right.
And, all they have to do is call, and we do it all the time. But they have to ask.
Yeah. Well, we need them to call 911, not drive themselves in.
Yeah, right.
But
That's my
is there
That's what we're
question.
here for.
And it's only hearsay, believe
Yeah, I
me.
know.
You know.
But is there a way that we can sort of use some kind of a communication system in town to inform people of that? For instance, through the senior center.
Right.
They
Yeah,
put
it's
out- they put out
definitely-
a newsletter
That's a
every.
good idea.
It definitely would be, and
some Brian
I wouldn't
would
be
do that.
opposed to is having our town attorney look into the legality of, because it is federal dollars, Medicare and Medicaid, that, I'm not going to prison for. So,
No, we don't particularly want that to happen.
but we do try to apply a fair process to everybody, and there's just some people that, if you're an older person who suddenly becomes ill, usually it's not one trip, it's multiple trips, and now, that Medicare copay can stack up pretty quickly. And so we recognize that, and we usually just take care of it. But there has to be a process, and that process typically is some communication with us, and not just ignoring the bills that you
But
get.
maybe we could think about, some kind of a, like, I'm thinking of the senior center newsletter coming, but maybe other places as well, where we would simply say, if you have a concern
Right.
about an unpaid ambulance bill, contact the fire department. That's all you'd have to
That's all you
say.
have to say, yeah.
That's all we have to say. And again, we don't want to add any additional burden to anybody,
And
and
we sure
especially the
don't want
people that have
people
lived
driving.
and worked and paid taxes in
Right.
this town for a long
A long
time.
time.
It's similar to I was asked a question by one of the commissioners, because their family member has had to use our services recently for lift assists several times. And the way I've always approached that is, listen, we're the gray area. You have somebody who has sudden illness, they haven't had time to install ramps or get help in place, we're the interim, right? Or the caregiver isn't there for whatever reason, or they're in such a condition that they can't do it alone. We don't charge for those things.
Right.
That's just what we do. And then if it becomes, more of a service than an emergent, like a temporary thing, we look to hook them up with social services, get them extra help, and that kind of thing. So that's a great suggestion, and I've certainly worked with Dale Izzo over at Senior Center to get that into the.
Yeah, I think
Into the thing.
just to tell them to call,
Yep.
that's all.
Yep, good.
I'm gonna write that down right now.
Commissioner Conklin, bills?
I think we need, just because of the reports that I get on my phone, I think someone needs to call Brian Rooney, and I'll do it if you'd like, just to say, what can we do with the elevator in this building? Because it seems to show up often as temporarily out of order. We had it in the last meeting.
Yeah, right, I didn't
If
try
you
to use it
recall.
tonight, I
We
came
had
up the
to come up
stairs.
with it, right? We had it.
Is that, we have a Schindler or we have Otis? What do we have? Or, no?
Cone, I believe.
Who?
Cone, K-O-N-E.
So is there a problem with parts that we know of? What's the problem?
It has, people will come in and say it's not working. Maybe because it got a shock or something like that.
Is it like that?
Oftentimes we're able to, we don't know about it
You
because
just turned it off.
But you're
we
not
turn it
using
back on, we turn it
And it
back
works.
off, it resets and it
I mean, is
works.
it a computer board or something, a bad board? I mean, I don't know.
And it gets inspected,
Yeah.
annually, but
Okay. Well, that's something.
I think one of the harder parts for us is that GGB is an overwhelmed department.
Yes.
That
He has a
doesn't,
lot going on.
doesn't really
Yeah.
communicate. So, his form of communication is to stop in and see me, usually at lunchtime when I'm not here.
Do the elderly cops have used that a lot? Is that
More of their clerical staff. But the assistant,
That's when they get.
the deputy chief right now is recovering from surgery, so
Is he?
Oh,
he needed one of those little knee scooters.
Oh, he's got one like
Oh,
Lloyd?
yeah.
And
Okay.
was using the elevator, so he would let us know when it wasn't working.
yeah, I did meet with him actually between our last two meetings to just get a tour of where they are here in the training room.
Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, and the end of our building here.
Yep.
And he had said, as your report says, that they would be complete in February, but then they have to return the building as they found
And they have plans to do that. They've
Yeah, that was
offered
part of
any
it.
of the furniture that they have here to be left here,
Yeah.
especially on the other side, which I think is a good idea. We, being the commission, will need to kind of think about the long term, what we want that room to be. because I just don't want it to be a room on the far end of the building that, you know.
That fills up like the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
or it
jump
becomes a hideaway or whatever
Yeah.
like that, you know. But,
We'll await that for you.
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah.
Good.
you know, and it should be noted, I think, you know, people consider this building as a new building, right? But it was occupied in 2012.
Yeah, so it's
We're
14
heading into our
years old.
14th year.
I know.
Yeah,
And,
It went by fast.
yeah.
you know, and you know, the usual things that would happen over that time frame, paint, some of the asphalt and the carpet and, you know, various things. I think that, you know, the town does a great job of providing these, you know, this infrastructure, but then over time it becomes worn and I think, you know, we working with GGB need to come up with a plan for maintenance.
Yeah, we don't want to get stuck where we were with the old building.
No.
Brian does a good job. I think he's
Yeah, he's overwhelmed.
He has a lot
and
going
There's a
on.
lot
He does have a
going
lot
on.
going on.
And don't forget, he was very heavily involved with the movement of not only the Public Works from their, you know,
Yeah,
after
and
they
then he
lost
had
their
the
lease to the
transfer
new place,
station
but then he
fire.
had the
He's trying
transfer
to
station
remodel that
fire.
building too.
So,
out there too.
he-
One
you
would
know-
think that you could buy a service contract for maintenance on the elevator, and then someone says to
Call it.
chief, it's broken, and you call,
They do, but,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
And same thing with the apparatus bay doors and you know, we have a lot of service, he has a lot of service contracts.
So is it incumbent on them to call, and not you? Is that how that works, or the fire department call? Who has to call? GGB has to
He
call?
calls, but he calls pretty quick.
Okay.
He just doesn't tell us he does. We have to track him
I
down.
think the
Gotcha.
building, the fire at the transfer station, there was more damage done to the operations building where everything gets done in there
Yeah.
than everybody thought. The amount
Yeah,
of-
it sounded that
So a
way.
lot, yeah, a lot more happened than, so he's had to deal with a lot there,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest with everybody. So his plate's full between everything, so. But whatever we can do to help him, we're here to help.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anything else, Commissioner? All right, pension, the committee's working on meeting dates. We've received a lot of letters of correspondence thanking the fire department, from fires and EMS calls, and we get those, as you all see, we get your emails daily, weekly, so a lot of good that the men and women at the Branford Fire Department do, and thank you. Moving on, I know our candidates are here, but, hold on, what else have I got here on this thing? Chief, you want to highlight any of your stuff?
Yeah, just real quick, I'll go through this, I'm not gonna
I like to
read it,
finish
you
this
all
and then
have,
we'll-
you all have it, and
Yeah.
then my report becomes part of the minutes, so people could look it up
Yeah.
for themselves, but just wanted to highlight that, you know, we've already responded to over 4,000 calls for service to date, as of the 20th of this month. And then, you know, that's averaging about the 20 calls a day. 11 o'clock a.m. is still our busiest hours for calls, and Fridays remains our busiest day at this point. We posted our annual statistics of, last year we did 7,044 incidents. The graph on your chart, on your report there, is generated from the new NERIS reporting, which replaced the NFIRS, which is the National Incident Reporting System. We report all of our incidents to the state and to the feds so that it can see the fire problem nationwide. And they just revamped it to a system called NERIS, which is now the National Emergency Reporting, whatever. Just another federal acronym, but it does give a more broader look at what the fire department does besides fighting fires, which was what the old system was built on. Most fire departments have become an all hazards system now, and it just will give you a better look of all of the different types of things that we do. I also did highlight all of the major incidents we've had. The last 3 months have been really crazy for everything from fatal motor vehicle accidents, pedestrian struck, but notably a lot of major fires, 3 of which were in industrial buildings. We also had a major propane emergency that was very successfully mitigated without causing a lot of fanfare down deep in Stony Creek. And they did a great job with that because it could have been a much more serious incident. Certainly want to thank our mutual aid departments, North Branford, East Haven, and Guilford, for all their help recently. We do provide help to them as well. but we've been the busy spot over the last several months, so we thank them for that. And then just thought it was worth mentioning that a lot of these calls are occurring on the east end of town. I mentioned to you privately earlier that there's many larger parcels on that side of town that are being looked at for development. We put the plan for staffing and facilities plan that you approved, and we've gratefully been allocated the 16 new hires. But really that East End station and the staffing that goes with it really is the keystone, not just for the response times and to handle the amount of emergencies we are, but also to allow a lot of the other things that we don't really get to do well anymore because of just the sheer volume of busyness. And I'll highlight just one of them is that at the Blakesley Industrial Building, which was a very significant fire, it was a dangerous situation that we have a lot of newer firefighters that didn't know how that building was put together. And what we'd like to do as a fire department is to go out and pre-plan these buildings. And we haven't really been able to get back to really getting to a lot of these pre-plans, and that puts a danger on us.
Yeah.
And I think it's just important to to highlight that. I understand the town has a lot of needs. We've been allocated a lot of needs recently, but this department is still playing catch up, and we still face the consistent decline in the volunteers. Although I will also want to say that the volunteers that have been responding have been really busy, and they've been doing a great job. So in no way, shape, or form does that impugn their service. And I just want to be really clear about the last thing is even if we have an East Station, we still need the volunteers we have today.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so we're not looking to replace anybody. We're looking to continue to grow that to the best of our ability and keep it up because we need that group for when we do have that stretch. But we still need to get that extra help for the daily time when, again, we're so busy. All the units are consistently tied up. We're not just sitting here playing cards anymore. That never happens. It just doesn't. There's no time where their workday, after 6, 7 o'clock at night, downtime is a little bit different, but they're still going on calls during that time. They're doing on calls overnight. But during the day, there's no downtime for us.
Yeah. Just bringing up the Blakesley fire, I don't know if anybody realizes, you said how that fire was hot, and they have an overhead crane, and it actually heated up the beam and twisted it. So that's how hot that fire was in there, which everybody got out of. And it's gonna take them like 6 months to get that tracking system that they need, so that's how hot that fire was in there.
It
So
twisted the beam on the
yeah,
crane?
so that's how hot that fire was.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the chief was saying, so pre-planning's big, but it's a fire that, and like you said, chief, the volunteers that have been showing up, they've been doing a great job.
Yeah.
They're right there too,
Yep.
so.
And then the only thing that I think it's worth mentioning, and we are almost, we've received the guidance from the first selectman via a letter form to all the department heads about what the expectations are for this budget year. Obviously, there's a lot of union contracts coming up. We're going to try to keep things as lean as possible on the non-personnel line items. I'm probably about 75% complete with my draft budget, and at usually in early February we start to meet with the select person in the finance department to kind of give them our first look and get their feedback, and then eventually we'll see you guys to approve the budget.
Good. Assistant Chief?
The chief covered a lot, so I'll be brief. But one thing that we've been working on is we did receive the AFG Assistance to Firefighters Federal Grant for a exhaust extraction system at Station 9.
Okay.
We went out to bid for that and awarded a contractor due to that work, and we hope to have that done by our next meeting. So that will be a big benefit for the health and safety of the people at Station 9, because right now that does house one of the older engines that's still going to be there for another 2 or 3, a couple years, an older engine. And when that fires up, all that soot from the exhaust goes on all their gear and in the building, and they're doing the best to mitigate it right now, but that will be a good help for them. So we look forward to getting that installed.
And Chief Kozak wrote that grant, and
Good job.
Nice job.
Well done.
Good job.
Thank you, Chief.
We had a couple more. The fire marshal's report you saw from Dobinsky, Fire Marshal Dobinsky. He has going before, I think, is it rules and?
Rules and ordinance
Yeah, on
approved.
the Bricer,
Yep.
which it really works out well, but that, he's understaffed, we know that. It's a lot going
Yeah,
on.
and the Bricer system's a force multiplier for us because it takes care of a lot of that notification. And when the so basically what it does is it notifies anybody who has any type of fire alarm, sprinkler system, and
Emergency lighting.
all of that stuff that
extinguishers.
they're due for an inspection, and that they'll notify them ahead of time so that when the fire marshal goes there, if he gets a report from the professional saying that system is in check, he doesn't have to do that much more to double check that. So it's a force multiplier. Again, for us, he's very busy. He's utilizing the deputy fire marshals. They're doing a lot of the other work, but those are only funded as a part-time thing. It's not a consistent thing. With the sheer call volume that we're doing, the focus for us as a priority has been,
Service.
operational people as opposed to code people.
Yeah.
But we will have to address that at some point
Yep.
in the future.
Okay, old business, we have nothing on the agenda. New business, we have a meeting schedule, if I could get a motion to approve that one that Trista had sent out. the
So
clerk.
moved.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the last one is MP Rice wants to go on March 15th, the St. Patrick's Day Parade. That's all, for all agreement, it's up to the chief at the end of the day. If we have apparatus that are out of service or we have something going on, they get told they can't go to the parade.
Right.
So, all in favor of that? Can I get a motion?
So moved?
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're not going to adjourn, but we're going to request at 6:47 PM
You need another motion to go
to
back
go into the
in.
executive session.
Okay, I'll move we go back into executive session
Second.
at
Who seconded it?
6:47.
Jack did, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're back in executive session at 6:47 PM. Okay, we're back to the January 22nd meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners. We're coming out of executive session at 7:29 PM.
Tom.
No votes taken. At this time, under personnel, to consider if appropriate, make additional offers for 3 firefighter paramedic positions. Do I have a motion? We interviewed 6 positions tonight. Do I have a motion on moving forward on scoring on the ones we have?
Sure, I'll make a motion, Commissioner. We put Grant Schoenfeld, number 1.
Do I have a
Chair.
second?
Second.
Second, okay.
Jeremiah Palmisano as number 2. Michael Durso as number 3. Patrick Cunningham is number 4. Matthew Daly, number 5. And Nicholas Antonucci, number 6.
Okay, and that would be, that's all pending the requirements for the job requirements that are required. So they have to meet certain
Correct.
criteria.
Conditional offers.
Yeah, conditional offers, that they have to meet those, which the chief's office will take care of, chief.
We will do so, Commissioner.
Any more further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so voted. All right, and to move on to consider for appropriate, promote John Massey to the position of captain.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. And 7:31 is the time. Do I need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, see you in February. Thanks, Henry. Have a good night. 7:31 PM.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.